Welcome back to another edition of Six Borough Sports, your home for New York and South Florida sports. Today, we got to talk about the Mets, who just got done finishing their home opening series against the Blue Jays with a great sweep. The home opener was pretty magical. We're going to talk about Pete Alonso putting up crazy numbers so far this year. And I think I'm just going to give a few thoughts about the Yankees and the torpedo bats. But before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to please like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. Thank you so much. So, going into this opening series for the Mets, they had played a series against the Astros. They didn't look so good. They weren't hitting at all. I was like, oh boy, Lindor's off to a slow start. Here we go. We had the McNeil and Alvarez injuries, so I was pretty frustrated to start the season. Then they bounced back against the Marlins, which they should. The Marlins are pesky. I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think. They should be a lot worse considering their payroll. Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys saw, but that Griffin Conine's catch was amazing against I think it was the Pirates. That was a fantastic catch. I didn't know he made the Marlins. I saw him in spring training a few times, but that was absolutely fantastic. But the Mets bounced back against the Marlins. Pete had a grand slam. Pete has been on an absolute tear. He's got 11 RBIs already. But then we get to the opening day game. I was like, all right, Toronto's a solid team. They're not great. They're not terrible. But that opening day game went perfectly. Tyler McGill pitched amazing. Pete, he got welcomes home, goes ahead, hits a home run, gets the curtain call. Juan Soto gets in on the action, and it was absolutely fantastic. I like the base running by Lindor. They initially called him out to get that double, a little bit of a hustle play there. But that was a perfect opening day game. I wish I could have went. I'm actually going to go up to New York in June to see Mets and Nationals. Um, so that should be fun. I'll be at Citi Field. But yeah, per, you couldn't script it any better. The starting pitching and the bullpen have been fantastic this year so far. Absolutely lights out, except for someone in the third game, freaking Edwin Diaz hitting two guys. He has to put people on base. He cannot just strike out the side. It's extremely frustrating to watch Edwin Diaz. He's got such nasty stuff, and he can't control it for the first few pitches. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with him. Um, I do not like. I can't even imagine him in like a a playoff scenario with the Dodgers lineup where it's like Otani and then Mookie Betts and probably he will be a pain in the neck is Conforto, who's on the Dodgers right now. But he's got to they got to figure him out. He cannot be doing that in the playoffs. Speaking of the Dodgers, the Phillies just took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers, and I thought the Dodgers were never going to let go of first place, but the Giants are now in first place out west. It's pretty crazy. And what is up with the Braves? The Braves are terrible right now, and they lost that guy Profar to PEDs for 80 games. Their season has been a total disaster. I know they played some tough teams to start because I think they played the Padres and the Dodgers, but they're playing awful. Now, granted, the Mets started the season 0-5 last year, and they came back and had a fantastic season. So it's not too late. I'm not writing off the Braves. I wrote off the Mets last year. I'm going to be 100% honest. I thought this was going to be another disaster season, and it could have been very close to it. They had to play really, really good baseball to even make the playoffs last year, but they pulled it together and got that amazing run. And I don't think if they didn't do that run, If Pete Alonso didn't hit that home run against the Brewers, I don't think Juan Soto would have been a Met. So, and right now Pete is playing like the best player on the team, which is also pretty crazy. Like he's if he keeps it up, that contract negotiation is going to be like, yeah, whatever you want, buddy, whatever you want. We don't even need Vlad Guerrero Jr. Um, but no, the pitching has been absolutely fantastic. I can't complain. Peterson had a little bit of a hiccup today. I hope he's okay, but knowing the Mets, there'll be more injuries. And that's another thing with the injuries. They're like, oh, he'll be back in May. Don't worry. He's not back in May. They'll be back in June. They'll be back in whenever. So whatever they say, add 3 weeks onto it, and then they still won't be ready. That's how the injuries work. The hitting is pretty sporadic. They pounce when they smell blood in the water, but they need to. They should be a better hitting team. But then again, well, right now Vientos is cold, and then their Nimmo isn't doing a lot. And again, McNeil, I wanted to see if he could get a big season out of him, he's out. He's out, and he's been out. He hasn't played a regular season game or playoff game in like months. Not, I mean, obviously months, but he missed last year too. And then Alvarez is out. Although the catchers are doing a pretty good job in his place. But they need to pick up the hitting if they want to be a successful team. But they have plenty of time, and they aren't playing bad right now. They're playing very well. I think we have a series against the Phillies coming up next, which is going to be really tough because they're playing really good baseball. They're in first in the NL East right now because they took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. So if the Mets can win the series against the Phillies, they'll probably be in. They will be in first if they win the series. So off to a great start. I didn't expect the Mets to necessarily win the division. That's not the expectation right now. It's just to make the playoffs. But winning the division would be nice. I don't even think they're going to have the best record because of the NL West. The NL West is absolutely stacked except for the Rockies. And the NL East, like, well, I thought the Braves are going to be good. So now I don't know. But the Phillies are good. I know that. That's going to be facts. Um, I thought the Marlins and the Nats are going to be a pain. I don't think they're going to be good, but they're going to be a pain. Um, and I don't know what to think of the Central. Right now, the Cubs are in first. It's looking like the Brewers have kind of lost some of their shine, but they'll figure it out. They always do. I'm kind of surprised at how bad the Cardinals have been, and they still haven't been. Not necessarily this year, but just in general. Usually the Cardinals, like, oh, he had an off year, but we retooled and figured it out. But they've been having a hard time as well. Um, Now, for the Yankees and the torpedo bats, they can use the bat. I don't have a problem with them if using the bats. That's not the issue. My whole thing with the Yankees is they play in the little league park that they call Yankee Stadium. Um, that park is way too small for a major league park, and they just bash home runs over that short wall, and that's how they beat up on teams with low payroll because they can pay home run hitters that the smaller teams can't afford because the smaller teams have to rely on like uh, small ball to win games, but the Yankees can just bash home runs and then they play games at home and just bash all the home runs. So, but again, this is not surprising for the Yankees. This is what their identity was last year. It was just bash a bunch of home runs and field poorly. So I don't really see the thing with the bats. They're going to face tougher pitching, and they're going to get exposed like they always do. Like teams are going to actually strategize against them and give them a hard time. And at the end of the day, they did lose Juan Soto. The thing I like about Juan Soto, and I think it makes him, he's very even keel as a in production. He's going to always be pretty solid. Um, he's not the most clutch, but he just always produces. I mean, he didn't win that game at the Houston game, but again, I'm not going to put it past him. He's still like contributing, and he's just consistently producing. He's always producing. So when your team loses a guy like that, and some of the guys you get to replace him go into slumps, then you start to see. Uh, that's what I like about Soto, though, is he's very balanced. He's not like Pete, where he goes on a hot streak, or Lindor, where he starts off slow. It's I know what I'm getting from him all the time, and so I think he's going to have a great year. That's not a bold prediction based on his past production. Well, we'll see going forward. The Mets are going to really have to battle it out with the Phillies. Again, like I said, I don't know if they're going to win the division, the Mets. I would have picked the Phillies or the Braves, but now I don't know what the Braves are going to do. But we'll see. And nothing really changes for me with the Yankees. The Yankees, they're essentially the very similar team to what they were last year in terms of their hitting style. They can just keep bashing home runs and beat up on bad teams. It's what they do. It's effective. You get into the playoffs, and then you got to see where that goes. But anyway, that's it for this week. I keep saying it. I'll try to be more consistent, but I'd really like to see some more subscribers. So if you could please like, comment, and subscribe, I really appreciate it. I'm going to try to get out another video sometime this week, but thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next video.